You are the definition of moral superiority.
Morals are overrated.
Sometimes.
Live free and die hard, dude.
Live free or die hard. You're not supposed to do both.
No, do both.
Should we make a podcast?
I guess so.
Welcome to the Iconoblast podcast. This is the show that takes a look behind the public facades of famous icons to show you why you can never take anything at face value. My name is Cooper, and sitting across from me, as always,
What's up?
Joel Benner.
Hola, Paco. ¿Qué tú? ¿Cómo estás?
I don't understand French.
Iconoblast! We put the past on blast. Hit 'em with the truth, with things you never knew. Nobody is safe, no thing to place. Got Joel and Coop with history in your face. Iconoblast!
Presented by GhostBed.com.
Wait, so you're back?
Yeah, I'm back. I took a trip out to California.
Yeah, got your dogs.
To pick
How's
up
that been?
my no good little mutts. The trip out to California and back was actually really nice. It was about 20 hours
You should
out there
post
and
some
back.
of those videos of some nice, beautiful landscapes with the sky
But
and
I
the
shot them all through a
storms.
dirty windshield, so there's spots all over the place.
Little
I don't know.
poopies?
Yeah, little poopies all over the windshield. Lots of bugs all over the windshield.
How do you feel having your dogs back?
It's nice having them back around.
For you, yeah.
Yeah. I don't care about anything else. I'm a solipsist. Solipsis or solipsis? Solipsism? There's
selfish?
No, that's what it is. There's
Yeah.
a certain school of thought where people believe that nothing exists outside of themselves. The entire world is just a figment of their imagination, so nothing else matters aside from their own experiences and beliefs, and everybody else is just nothing more than a part of their imagination.
I could see that's you. I could see that.
I'm nice to people.
Just because it makes you feel better.
Well, yeah, because I'm the only person that I can prove actually exists.
Well, there you go.
Prove that I exist.
Let me see your hand.
Yeah, that's not going to prove anything aside from that you're getting sensations
You don't know.
from your brain
No.
that tell you that you're
The
actually
sensations you get will tell
hitting
you that
somebody.
you exist.
I can't prove that you exist.
I don't care.
Me either.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about a French pervert.
I don't care.
Not just any French pervert, because, I mean, let's be honest, that could be goddamn anybody in France. We're talking about a very specific French pervert. We're continuing to talk about a very specific French pervert named Marquis de Sade.
Oh, yeah.
One of the greatest perverts of all time.
Donato.
Donatien Alphonse, some shit. I don't know. It doesn't matter. He's just a fucking weirdo.
Donatien?
Donatien, I think that's...
Donatien.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Donatien. That's like the sexy way to say donut, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's French for donut. But
Do you think some of the girls that he was banging just called him donut because they were frustrated? It's like a rude way of saying his name. I don't know French, but...
I don't know. All the girls that he was hooking up with were... He was an aristocrat, and all the girls that he... Well, I shouldn't say that he was hooking up. All the girls that he was molesting...
Paying to molest.
Either paying... Well, I don't think that there's... Well, no, there's at least one girl... Three girls who stuck around to deal with his bullshit, because they were some freaky ladies. But everyone outside of that, I think that they did not enjoy his company very much. I mean, I guess some people must have, because he had orgies at his castle all the time.
Yeah. So this is the guy that invented the words sadist?
No, he's the namesake for sadism.
He invented sadism.
He didn't invent it.
He
People have been
completely
doing
on
it
his own
before.
invented
He was such a prolific bastard that the word sadism was invented to
Buntificating.
To what?
A buntificating, pretentious bastard.
Buntificating?
Yeah.
Pontificating.
Yeah, whatever.
I think that's what you were trying to say.
Pontificating?
Pontificating is what I'm doing
buntificating.
right now.
Well, it's buns because it's sexual, right?
So buntificating, is that like...
A sexual version of pun.
So
I like puns.
Pontificating is just
means like-
verbally stroking your own ego pretty much.
Yeah, I thought it was
Buntificating is when you're verbally stroking your own ego into somebody else's asshole.
into an ass. Buntificating.
Which is something that I'm sure the Marquis de Sade did. We're actually going to be reading some passages from one of his greatest works, one of his most celebrated works, called 120 Days of Sodom. And it is...
He wrote that?
Yeah, we've talked about a lot of fucked up shit on
I've
this
heard
show
about
before.
that, but I didn't know this was the guy that wrote
This
that.
is the guy that wrote he also wrote a few other books like Justine, Juliet. They were all fucked up. He wrote some
The Great Gatsby.
Yeah, wrote The Great Gatsby. No, he didn't. But
His version was The Great Gaps.
the Great Gatsby. The Great Gapesby.
Yeah.
But
The greatest gape.
when I was going through and picking out passages from 120 Days of Sodom, I realized
Is it
that
fucked?
this is going to be some of the most fucked up shit we've ever talked about on this show.
Really? Worse than
easily.
Worse than Christopher Columbus?
Oh, yeah, easily.
No.
By far. Way more fucked. I'm not easily offended by shit. Like I can read fucked up shit. I can watch fucked up movies. Not really an issue with that. The shit what trips me out about 120 Days of Sodom is the stuff that he comes up with. It's the most over the top, brutal sexual shit I've ever read in my entire life. It's absolutely insane, the stuff that he's describing in that book.
That's why they named this shit after him, right?
That's why he coined the term sadism. He didn't create the term sadism. Sadism was named after him because he was such a sadistic piece of shit. And he really was a piece of shit. He was self-centered. He was a spoiled rich kid. And I mean, he was a rapist.
Kinky.
He tortured people. Kinky is
one of the lighter terms.
Yeah, that's a pretty tame way to describe him.
Oh, that's right. On the last episode we did on him, he raped the homeless lady.
Yeah. She might have been a prostitute, but it, like we said in the last episode,
we weren't sure.
From her reaction to the situation, seems like she wasn't a prostitute because it seemed like she went into that cottage.
She thought she was going to clean a fucking house.
To clean a house.
Yeah, and then she got her colon cleansed.
Yeah.
And got hot wax poured into her cut wounds.
Yeah.
Or some shit.
Yeah. Allegedly got hot wax poured into her wounds. That's
poured into her what? Her wound?
Wounds.
Oh.
Right into her hatchet wound.
Jesus.
So Marquis de Sade is a person who spent a lot of time in bed, and if you're going to spend a lot of time in bed, you should do it in a ghost bed.
Oh.
The Iconoblast podcast is, of course, brought to you by ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros. Ghostbed has been a loyal sponsor of the Drinkin' Bros for 5 years now, and everyone here in the studio absolutely loves them. We're sitting right next to a ghost bed.
We actually had 2 dogs and a boy on that bed last night.
We shouldn't talk about that on the air. Somebody might hear that.
Well, you were getting into character for this episode.
We burned the sheets afterwards. In our defense, we burned them afterwards, so nobody's going to catch anything from it.
I wasn't involved. I was just filming it. Wait, that makes me involved.
Yeah.
If you're a paid filmmaker to film something fucked up, is that the same as like robbing a bank and you're the driver?
Are you filming a crime?
A rape scene. Yeah.
You're willingly filming a crime?
Yeah.
Then, yeah, guilty by association.
I don't think so. I think it's different. That's like,
if you were a documentary filmmaker and you filmed something illegal happening, then I think that you're not going to be...
So you just have to say, I'm a documentary filmmaker and I film my best friends rob a bank.
You'd have to say it in a very convincing way in court to defend yourself.
But you could get away with it. That just like making porn. Porn is just like the new version of prostitution. You can fuck for money, but as long as it's on camera.
Yeah.
Then it's okay. Then it's not prostitution. It's entertainment.
Yeah, it's art.
It's art. God bless all of them.
How dare you belittle it by just calling it entertainment? That is art.
I shouldn't have said that. They help me sleep every night, those girls. I love them.
Ghost Bed's going to help you sleep also, and you can try a Ghost Bed mattress for 101 nights, and if you're not completely satisfied, you can return it no questions asked. Their mattresses and pillows have cooling technology to keep you cool on those hot, sweaty nights when you've got it just loaded with a bunch of...
puppies.
A bunch of puppies, yeah. Which, by the way, last night, I've got a Mastiff Pit Bull mix and a Golden Retriever Boxer Lab mix. The Mastiff Pit Bull mix, he's a big boy, and he really likes to... Oh, yeah, he's a big baby. Really likes to spread out a lot. And, Jesus, I don't know how he's a big dog, but I don't know how he took up like 2/3 of the bed last night. And me and Boa, the the golden retriever
Is that
boxer
the one you were
lab
sleeping
mix.
with at the time, or were you sleeping with Argus at the time?
I was sleeping with both of them.
At the same time, threesome.
Yeah, I'm very. I like
And
to
the
share
cat.
myself.
And the cat too.
Yeah, she didn't sleep in the bed. I tried to get her to sleep. She wanted to sleep in the bed, but she's still afraid of the dogs.
Are you
so
fucking those dogs?
no,
Okay.
they're like my children.
And? I mean, considering the episode we're doing,
Oh yeah, wait.
I'm starting to wonder
Just
why you picked this
wait
as
until-
a topic.
wait
We have
un-
lots of topics that people have requested. We have lots of topics we need to do, and you decided to go right into this weird sexual perverted.
Well, I was on like my third read through of 120 Days of Sodom, and I was like, people need to hear this. So I decided to do an episode about it.
Okay.
GhostBed also offers an adjustable base that's best in class and costs less than the competition. The adjustable base has 15 massage modes, 0 gravity, and tons of other great features. You can buy a mattress for about $35 a month, and they have no money down, 0% APR financing. Right now, GhostBed is offering a flash sale where you can get 40% off when you buy a mattress and adjustable base, or 30% off of everything when you use the promo code DrinkinBros. Head over to ghostbed.com/drinkinbros to take advantage of all their awesome deals. That is ghostbed.com/drinkinbros. Ghostbed. Sleep so good, it's scary. And we've got one other sponsor to talk about.
Or you can do /donatien, and you can get a bunch of cool like straps where you can tie people down to your ghost bed.
No, that's a different website that you have to go to for that. This episode is also brought to you by ShipStation.
Yeah.
We all have passions that push us to do big things in life, like selling your crafts online, all out of a deep, burning love for logistics and order management? I don't think so. Okay, no one's passionate about that part, and that's why there's ShipStation. They make it easy to manage your orders and get your products out the door so you can get back to doing what you really love, which is growing your business. ShipStation is the #1 choice of online sellers. You can import orders from any sales channel, ship with any carrier using ShipStation's deeply discounted rates, and automate just about any shipping task. No wonder 100,000 plus online sellers choose ShipStation.
Yeah.
No matter how you sell, Shopify...
And no matter what you want to sell or
And no
send.
matter what you want to sell.
Dildos, cock rings.
Well, that's all illegal.
Strap-ons.
I don't recommend sending
chairs.
drugs or humans through
Fingernails.
ShipStation.
You can send fingernails. You can send fingers.
No, that's legal.
If it's your own finger.
No, not fingers. That's medical waste. You can't ship medical waste.
You can't send your own finger to somebody?
That's got to be illegal.
We'll find out.
Well, I'll contact ShipStation and ask
They
them
would know.
Yeah, they would know because they're experts in this field. No matter how you sell, Shopify, Etsy, or your own website, ShipStation funnels all of your orders into one simple interface that you can manage from anywhere, even your cell phone. And we all do everything from our cell phones nowadays, so that's very, very convenient to be able to handle all this stuff just from your phone. Everything. You'll even get access to amazing discounts with major carriers, including UPS, FedEx, and the United States Postal Service.
Sweet.
Easily compare carriers and choose the best solution every time. With ShipStation, small businesses can now access the same rates usually reserved for Fortune 500 companies without contracts or commitments. Ship more in less time for a lot less money. Just use our offer code ICON to get a 60-day free trial. That's 2 months of free, no-hassle, stress-free shipping. Just go to ShipStation.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and type in ICON. That's ShipStation.com and enter the offer code ICON.
Dude, that's...
ShipStation. Make ship happen.
We have our own promo code.
I know. That still makes me excited. That's a big step for our careers.
Yeah, it is. I think we need to make all our friends at least do it. Right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
We're
like, what the
going
fuck?
to leverage everybody we know to get
It's
them
our
to sign
first
up.
promo code. Anyone that cares about us, please get the free trial on ShipStation. Just try it out, and if you use it a bunch, keep it. If you don't, cancel it. Doesn't
Especially
matter.
with the pandemic going on, still going on, and it's looking like we're. I mean, not to make this content non-evergreen, but it looks like we are going into possibly another lockdown.
Yeah, well, not
Which
Texas.
is great. Well, yeah, Texas isn't going to lock down because Texas is the land of freedom.
That's right.
But a lot of people are running businesses out of their homes now, and it just makes it so much easier when you're shipping to use a service like ShipStation because they handle all of the crap that you don't want to do. And it's all a huge pain in the ass to do yourself. So yeah, just use ShipStation.com. And don't forget to use our promo code, ICON, ICON.
Promo code ICON.
I wanted to tell the story about how I thought I overheard a murder happening while I was in Ventura picking up my dogs.
Oh, yeah.
So I stayed at a place called the Roadway Inn in Ventura, and I implore everybody in the audience to never stay at the Roadway Inn in Ventura. I've stayed in a lot of bad motels before, a lot of bad motels, a lot of bad hotels. My time in the band, we would try to find the shittiest hotel we could to stay in just because it's more interesting that way, and they're usually cheaper.
You can party there without getting in trouble usually.
Yeah, usually. So I pulled into Ventura at probably around 10 o'clock at night. I started looking around for a hotel. Almost every place that I looked at was booked. So I started off with the cheapest hotels, which the Motel 6 was totally booked. Remember what was the name of that place we had to live in for like a week out there? Fairly cheap, not super cheap, but cheaper than the place that I stayed in.
So it was called like the Crystal Lodge or something.
I think it was, I think it was Crystal Lodge, or was it Travel Lodge?
No, the Travel Lodge is nice. Crystal Lodge was fucked.
That place was nicer than the Roadway Inn. The Roadway Inn is easily the worst hotel I've ever stayed in my life. And like I said, I've stayed in a lot of shitty places. Yeah.
Illegal prostitution, drug deals.
Well, I mean, that part's fine. I mean, that part makes it more convenient.
Yeah, it's
because I don't have to go anywhere to get the stuff that I'm going to need for the night.
For the night, yeah.
So I get there at like 10 o'clock at night, and it was a little after 10 because I checked all the other hotels in town, and starting from the cheapest and working my way up to the most expensive. The Roadway Inn was supposed to be like $150 a night, which is fucking ridiculous for how shitty this place is. Because I stayed at a place in New Mexico, or it was either New Mexico or Arizona, I can't remember. I stayed there, it was like $50 a night, and it was a Ramada Inn, because I'm a high-class guy.
Ooh.
And that place, it had a kitchenette, it had a separate area for the bed, it had a little living room area. It was a really, really nice place for the price. The Roadway Inn in Ventura, and I want to maybe all Roadway Inns are fucking shitty, but I know the one in Ventura is fucking horrible. I hate that place. So that place, it was like 3 times the price of the Ramada that I stayed in. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, it's shitty that I have to pay this much, but at least it'll be
it's close to where you're going.
And also, at least it'll be nice. It's got to be nice for that price. No. It's goddamn terrible. So I walk up to the front desk, and I ask for a room. And the guy tells me, okay, it's going to be $100 for the night. I was like, okay, whatever, I'll pay it. And he just gives me this dirty look, and he's like, normally it's $150. I was like, okay, cool. He's like, I'm doing you a big favor. I was like, no, you're not. You're charging me way too much for...
Why would you do me a favor? You don't even know me.
Yeah, and not only that, I'm getting there like... Okay, so it must have been 13, 14 hours before checkout time. No, what you're doing is you're prorating the fucking cost of the room because I'm not staying there for the full 24 hours. You're not doing me a fucking favor. That's a policy of most places. Every hotel that I stayed at, if I get there late, they usually give you a lower rate because first of all, they want to fill the room. And second of all, you're not staying for the full 24 hours, so you don't pay for the full fucking 24 hours. So this guy tries to make me think that he's doing me a favor by charging me $100 instead of $150. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll pay it. Get my key, go to the room. I step into a room that is like half the size of the room that we're recording in right now. It's the size of my fucking bedroom at home.
This might be culturally insensitive, but what race was he?
Indian.
Of course.
Drink. Wait, is it? Fuck it. I'm going to drink anyway. So I walk into the room and I look for... The first thing that I notice is that it's about the size of my bedroom at home, which isn't super big, especially considering that it's a hotel room. I set all my shit down. I start looking around, and I realize that there's holes in every single wall. There was like 2 holes above the bed.
What do you mean holes? Like it was window. Like putting not windows, but putting pictures up. So there's like nail holes.
No, it was like some Kyle hopped up on Monster Energy drink, went through there and got real fucking pissed off at his mom and just started socking holes in every single piece of drywall in the place. Holes everywhere. It's not like somebody was trying to hang something and had a little oopsie. It was like somebody punched holes in the walls. The bedding was damp. Everything in the place was damp. Every single surface of the room was either sticky or wet, and I don't understand how
That's gross.
how they make that happen. Yeah, it was fucking disgusting. The sink.
I think that comes from when they're like poorly cleaning. They just spray their cleaning product everywhere, but they don't actually wipe it up, so it just settles on it.
All of the pee and poop and semen and
There's just
vaginal
a layer
excretions just stay there. It technically disinfects them, but the stickiness
It's also
is still there. And yeah, the bedding and the sheets, the mattress, the comforter, everything was damp. For some reason, everything was damp.
Their dryers don't work.
Or it's just all the fucking cum from the last people that were in there. Bang. It's years and years and years of the aftermath of people's sexual experiences with prostitutes.
Sex juices.
So I start looking around. It's late, so I just want to go to bed because I have to leave early in the morning. Oh, I was hard as fuck. Oh, dude, you don't even know. I was knocking shit off the shelves with my penis. So
why didn't you just get your money back and stay somewhere else?
There was nowhere else. I looked at every other hotel. Well, the only other hotel that I could have stayed at was the Crown Plaza, and the Crown Plaza is expensive. I wasn't going to pay that much for the night.
It's not that expensive.
It's more than $100.
That's not that expensive.
I didn't even want to pay $100 for the night. I was hoping to get some place for like $60, $70.
You're a fucking cheap ass.
I don't want to spend I was staying there for like 6 hours. I just wanted to sleep long enough that I could get up in the morning, go pick up my dogs, and then get the fuck out of town so I could start driving back and get back here in time to work. So I start looking around for a place to plug in my phone. Supposedly the place has Wi-Fi. That's what they were advertising, is they have free Wi-Fi. I try to log into the Wi-Fi and the connection is it's like they had one router in the office that every room was supposed to connect to, and you just have to hope that you're close enough to the office to get any sort of signal.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I tried to connect to the Wi-Fi because I was actually trying to do some work while I was there. Tried to connect to the Wi-Fi. It would stay connected for like 30 seconds at a time and then disconnect. So I was like, all right, I'm not getting anything done. I'm just going to go to bed. I start looking for a place to plug in my phone. And there's one power outlet in the entire room. A single fucking power outlet in the entire goddamn room. And they've got 3 power strips plugged into it that are running a mini fridge, a microwave, a television. What else do they have plugged into it? All the lamps in the room. Everything in the room was plugged into a single outlet. 2 power strips plugged into the outlet and a third power strip plugged into one of the other power strips. So got my phone plugged in, got everything set up. I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed, shut off the lights, lay down. I'm laying in bed for 30, 45 minutes or something like that. It's just past midnight. And all of a sudden in the room right next to mine, I hear some guy and a girl start screaming like somebody had just busted into the room and started chopping them up with machetes. I thought that it was some sort of, I thought it was like some sort of, I thought it was gang violence because, you know, I'm a white guy, so everything to me is gang violence. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there laying in bed.
Like, oh no, gang violence next door.
Oh no, it's the gangs again.
Did you call 911?
At first I was listening because I heard this guy start yelling like, no, please, no. And then I hear this girl start freaking out and yelling, and I hear stuff banging around and things getting knocked over.
Oh, shit.
And I mean, I hate to say it, but at first I kind of froze. I was like, wait, what the fuck is somebody actually getting murdered over there? Because I got to admit, I've never been in the room next door to an actual murder before. So I was a little curious to see how it was going to play out. It's like, well, I should probably call the cops, but let's see where this goes first.
So you didn't call the cops?
No, I was. So
you're not as white as you think. Is that?
Oh yeah,
drink?
You're right. Well, yeah, I guess we can drink for that. Anyway, it goes on for probably only about a minute and a half, something like that. But it sounds. I was completely convinced.
You're like something horrible just happened.
So I was convinced that somebody was getting murdered. For sure, I was 100% convinced that somebody was getting murdered. So I'm sitting there holding my phone,
deciding whether or not to call the cops, waiting to hear something else.
Because honestly, I wanted to go to sleep.
Well, of course.
I was
yeah.
like, okay, I can call the cops, and they're probably going to want to talk to me and ask me a bunch of questions, or I could just be like,
Do I
oh,
care?
shit, sorry, I slept through it.
Do I really care if someone was just murdered next to me?
They probably put
was the
themselves
voice
in
that
that
was
situation.
like, no. Was it a man or a woman?
It was a man, and the woman was
who
just
gives
going,
a shit?
oh, fuck. That's a sound our upstairs neighbor in Ventura used to make all the goddamn time, and it drove us
Made
crazy.
no sense. Yeah.
Yeah, she was a nutso. She was probably the one that was killing that guy.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't give a shit. I'm trying to picture myself in that situation. I don't call the cops. I've actually never called the cops in my
I feel
life.
fucked up because
So I don't know if I would.
I was honestly just thinking like, this is fucked up, but I also just kind of want to go to sleep. I don't want to deal with this shit. I have to be up in 6 hours to go and pick up my dogs and drive all the way back out to Texas. Do I want to get involved, or do I want to just pretend I didn't hear anything and go back to sleep? So I was sitting there with my phone in my hand, making that decision, and then I started hearing people talking in the next room. These walls were so fucking thin, you can hear the entire goddamn
These are the
conversation.
people that are there now to take care of the body and
Mr. Wolf.
Yeah,
he was,
Mr. Wolf,
He was there to clean up the body.
Pulp Fiction Mr. Wolf is there. Now they're cleaning up the body. You still don't give a fuck because all you care about is trying to sleep.
Yeah. I mean, that's not somebody that I know.
Makes sense to me. Yeah.
It's not my problem. Like I said, if they're getting murdered in a shitty hotel room, they put themselves in that situation.
It's not your problem. That's true.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
let's
a
be
fire
honest,
on a
they
hill.
Probably had it coming.
It's a fire on a hill. When you see a fire on a hill, you're like, oh, cool. But no one calls the cops.
Like, oh shit, that sucks.
Yeah. You just kind of watch it, get on with your life.
So while I'm sitting there still trying to consider whether or not I should call the cops, I start hearing the man and the woman having a conversation. I can't really understand what they're saying.
The same voices.
Yeah, it was the same voices.
You knew for sure.
I mean, I was pretty... well, let me finish the story. I found out later that it was definitely the same voices that were having the conversation. So I hear a man and a woman talking, and I can't hear the words that they're saying, but I can tell that it's a man and a woman talking. And then after a little while, everything gets quiet, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to get some sleep. The door's locked. If somebody busts in, then it'll be my problem, then I'll have to do something about it. But until then, I'm just going to get some sleep so I can get my dogs and get the fuck out of here in the morning.
And you don't carry a weapon. You have a knife, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I had my knife with me, but I mean, if somebody was in there murdering a man and a woman and they weren't able to fight them off, I'm not going to be able to fight them off by myself. I was like, all right, I'm either going to die tonight. Don't get me back on the Glocks again.
A lot of people upset with you about the Glock thing.
I know. I stand by my statement, though. Shitty recoil.
The one man.
No,
that was a good comeback.
I saw that comment too. That was a good comeback.
I don't remember who it was, but it was
comeback.
like, it doesn't have bad recoil. You just have a shitty grip. Be a man.
So anyway, what I found out was it wasn't somebody being murdered. It was some guy having night terrors. And he had night terrors about once every hour for the rest of the night. So about an hour after the first instance where he was screaming, no, please, no, goes into it once again.
What?
This time the girl didn't scream. It was just him screaming. And then after it lasted
Was it her first night with this guy?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe it was a prostitute or a one-night stand. It was a really shitty hotel. You don't take prostitutes to nice hotels.
Should have stayed at the
Crown Plaza. I'd rather save the money. I mean, I got a couple hours of sleep.
You could have just slept in your car. Got the same amount of sleep.
No, the rental car that I was driving, I would have if I had to, but that rental car was really uncomfortable. So, yeah, about once every hour for the rest of the night, he would have around 30-second long night terror, screaming like somebody was murdering him.
What the fuck?
Then he would go back to sleep.
Why don't you change your room? Ask for a different room.
Dude, the people at the front desk aren't going to give a fuck. They were proud that they knocked $50 off the price that they were supposed to take off of the price because you're supposed to prorate the cost of the fucking room.
I would have paid the extra $20 to stay at the Crown Plaza.
It can only be $120 a night.
If you go on the hotel, it's the same like plane flights. You go on Kayak or the other one, fucking cheapflights.com or the fuck bullshit sites are that like look for all the prices and they'll give you a deal. I've gotten hotel stays at the Crown Plaza for like $120.
I went to hotels.com when I first got into Ventura, and all of the prices
you have to stay
that
on
they
the fourth
listed
floor.
were higher than they were when I called.
It's 120, 150, but you don't get to be on the side that faces the beach. The one kind of
Oh,
got
well,
that.
then I'm not going to stay there.
The hotel
You're not gonna let me
faces
see the beach for 6 hours.
The
while I'm
hotel
asleep?
is on the beach, and so all the hotel rooms that face the beach are expensive, and then the ones on the other side are cheaper. And there's
Okay,
a whole
well,
floor just for dogs. You could have stayed there with the dogs. Fourth floor.
Oh, they do allow dogs there? All right, well, maybe next time. If I go back to Ventura to pick up some more dogs, then I'll stay there.
Dude, so every hour you were woken up by a man screaming.
Yeah. Yeah, I just
So you
drift
paid
off to sleep.
$100 to be woken up every hour.
I paid $100
Did you jerk off?
to sleep. No, that's the other thing that I was fucking upset about.
Why did you pay for this?
I paid $100 to sleep on a damp bed in a room that had one single power outlet with a bunch of holes in the walls and with some lunatic having night terrors every fucking hour for the rest of the night. I'm not pleased. So if you're ever in Ventura, do not stay at the Roadway Inn. It is the shittiest fucking hotel ever, and the people that own it are assholes. The people that own the Crystal Lodge are assholes also. But you know who else is an asshole is the Marquis de Sade, and we should probably start talking about him because we got 6 pages to get through today. So when we last left off, the Marquis had been locked up in France for a little while, fled to Italy, banged his sister-in-law, came back to France.
Oh, yeah, and his wife is mad at him right now.
No, his wife's
wife
okay with
stayed
it.
home.
His mother-in-law is a little bit upset.
Oh,
we'll
that's
find
right.
out about that in a second.
The mother-in-law's pissed.
After escaping from Milan's in 1773, de Sade returned to his fortress of solitude,
Done at the end.
the Chateau de la Coste.
His castle.
Chateau means castle.
People don't know
He
that.
immediately began hosting orgies at his home, which the local authorities soon caught wind of.
Within, what, 24 hours?
Oh, shit. If it was
Probably.
even 24 hours, probably within like an hour of getting home, he was like, all right, let's invite some people over and fuck them. With the police on his tail, de Sade was forced to flee to Italy once again, and once again, he brought his wife's sister with him. The last time he fled to Italy, he took his sister's wife. This time he did the same thing.
Wow. So he left again. How long was he back in town?
Maybe a week, a month,
Enough
something
for
like
like
that.
2 parties.
Yeah,
Gotta go.
Enough to piss off the police. While in Italy, the Marquis wrote his first book, Voyage d'Italie.
Oh.
Vastly different from his more risque future works, the book contained no sodomy or incest. Instead, it was simply the 1700s version of a travel blog. And like modern travel blogs, it was boring, overly long, and just an ego-stroking snooze fest. It was never translated from French. It's so boring that nobody ever bothered to translate it to any other language because nobody cares. Just like anybody who's writing a travel blog right now, nobody fucking cares. When de Sade wasn't writing, he kept busy sexually abusing anyone within arm's reach. This time, though, his wife wasn't satisfied watching from the sidelines.
Oh, shit.
The adventurous couple began hosting orgies at their chateau and used their servants as party favors.
Mama's getting into the mix.
Yeah, his wife was very understanding, I guess you could say. But I think she was
Quote,
a
unquote.
bit of a freak also.
She adapted.
Yeah.
Like a good wife should.
Improvise, adapt,
that's
overcome.
a drink, probably.
Okay, yeah. Do we drink for sexism? Because we're gonna be giving people
That
alcohol
could be
poisoning.
that could be on the same line as culturally insensitive.
Okay.
It fits in there, doesn't it? Who cares?
While de Sade was assaulting his staff at Lacoste, his mother-in-law, Madame de Montreuil, I think that's how you pronounce it, was once again meddling in his legal affairs. During his previous run-ins with the authority, Lady Montreuil had stepped in to protect her charming son-in-law. This time, though, she had learned of his affair with his wife's younger sister in Italy, and she was pissed. Very pissed. Madame de Montreuil petitioned the king for something called a lettre de cachette, which means letter of the signet. These were letters written by the King of France and closed with the royal seal. They contained orders directly from the king and could not be appealed. Whatever was written in this letter, regardless of the law, that was the king's word, and they had to go through with it.
Okay.
Lady Montreuil obtained one for the arrest and imprisonment of her son-in-law. Fucking turned on him. Bitch. These hoes ain't loyal. In 1776, the very year that America declared independence, the Marquis hired a gaggle of young maids to work at Lacoste. The young women quickly learned that their job description was misleading to say the least, and after numerous uninvited fingerings, all of them fled. Except for one very brave woman named Catherine Trillet.
Oh.
Catherine, or Justine as the Marquis called her, which is kind of confusing to me. Her name was
Justine.
Catherine, but he's like, no, you're Justine. Now get over here and let me finger your butt.
Maybe he was blind. Or going blind, so she looked like a Justine.
I think he was just a major
Asshole.
perverted narcissist.
He chose her name.
Well, yeah, he
decided that's her name.
Renamed her from Catherine to Justine.
Justine's a hot name.
Justine apparently didn't mind the depravity occurring at Chateau de Lacoste.
You just called her Justine.
That's what the Marquis named her.
Okay.
What am I gonna?
Are you gonna call her by her real name or call her by what she was forced to be?
Am I gonna listen to some filthy peasant or am I gonna listen to an aristocrat?
Drink.
Yeah. The following year, in 1777, word reached her family of the sex parties, which they understandably weren't thrilled about. Determined to bring his daughter home, her father traveled to Lacoste, and he brought his gun along with him.
What kind of guns did you have back then?
Probably a flintlock, something like that.
Flintlock pistol? Rifle?
I'm assuming he probably brought a pistol because those rifles were like 5 feet long, kind of.
Yeah,
hard
he can't
to
put that
conceal.
inside your ass. So.
Yeah. Oh, the Marquis could.
So he had a rifle up his ass.
Yeah.
Well, he probably actually put the pistol in Justine's ass.
It was Catherine's dad that brought the gun.
Justine?
Justine's dad brought the gun.
Okay.
Upon arriving at Lacoste, Catherine's father demanded the Marquis hand over his daughter. De Sade resisted at first, unwilling to let some unwashed peasant tell him what to do with his sex toys. The father pulled his pistol, aimed it at the Marquis's chest, and pulled the trigger.
Oh, shit. Shot him.
Everyone present was surprised by the lack of a gaping hole in the Marquis's chest. The gun had misfired.
No. Because it was in the creamy.
Every peasant's pants were real damp, and that type of rifle or pistol or whatever it was doesn't work very well in damp environments. Undeterred, Catherine's frustrated father grabbed his daughter and fled. The Marquis was left standing alone in his likely urine-soaked pantaloons. So, that would make me a little nervous if someone pointed one of those things in my chest and pulled the trigger.
Maybe it wasn't urine-soaked. Maybe he got off.
Actually, that's a little bit more likely, is that he's like, oh.
You're going to shoot me.
Penetrate me.
Penetrate me with your bullet.
Poke new holes in me for you to use.
Dude, he got blue balls after that. That's what happened. Because it didn't kill him. He didn't get shot.
He was so disappointed by that.
Yeah, he was like, no.
That's the ultimate penetration right there.
Yep.
Later that year...
Wait, was he taking it sometimes? Was he getting it in the butt?
There is... I literally think that Marquis de Sade did everything that you can do.
Okay.
Every last thing that you can imagine.
He did it.
He either did it himself or he thought about it and jerked off.
That's a big difference, though.
But I
think about everything and jerk off.
But I think the list of things that he just thought about much smaller than the list of things that he actually did.
Okay.
Later that year, de Sade received a letter informing him that his mother had fallen ill. And as you remember from the previous episode, his mother had abandoned him to join a convent because he was such a piece of shit that she didn't want to be around him. De Sade needed to meet her in Paris immediately before she died. Upon arriving in Paris, the Marquis learned his mother wasn't actually sick at all. She was already dead.
Oh, shit.
The letter had been a ruse to lure him into a trap set by his mother-in-law, who was very angry about the whole tryst in Italy.
Still upset about that.
Under the order from the lettre de cachet...
Why doesn't he just bang her?
His mother-in-law?
Yeah.
I mean, he probably did. I don't think there's anything in the Marquis' life that he did not stick his penis into.
Have you seen Wild at Heart? By the way, I'm wearing the shirt.
Yeah.
You've seen it?
A long, long time ago.
It's the same thing. The mother-in-law in it wants to fuck him. And he's like, no. And then the whole movie, she's pissed off. And what she says and what she tells the police and what she tells everybody and what would be written down in the history books if that was all real was that she was upset with him for something else than what it really was. So I think he turned her down. And that's what caused all of this.
Okay, so two things.
Does he
One,
fuck?
I think you're right, but
No way.
no, I think
Close to being right.
I think you're close to being right. There is no sex that the Marquis would ever turn down. He would never turn down sex from absolutely anyone because this guy would fuck anything. He would fuck anything or let anything fuck him.
How many times was it old ladies he was getting down on?
Wait until once we get into the excerpts from
Well, maybe it was a
120
thing
Days
where
of Sodom.
he wouldn't turn down someone to get turned on and then fuck them later, like kind of lead them on a little bit, and then you know how it seems like he's
play
into
hard to get?
Yeah, like
I don't know.
Seems like he's really into that. Like obviously he came in his pants when he almost got killed.
I don't think that he was really hard to get. I think he was constantly hard, but not hard to get.
Okay.
Upon arriving in Paris, the Marquis learned that his mother wasn't actually sick at all. She was already dead. The letter had been a ruse to lure him into a trap set by his mother-in-law. Under the order from the letter de cachet, de Sade was tied up and gagged, which he probably enjoyed, and he was then sentenced to death and imprisoned in the Chateau de Vincennes. I think that's how you say it.
Wait, why
or
was he
Vincennes.
sentenced to death?
I mean, pretty much just because his mother-in-law petitioned the king and was like, hey,
This guy's a perv.
give me a letter that says my son-in-law has to go to jail and die. It's like, all right.
Okay.
His
You think
mother-in-law
she
was...
fucked the king
Decide?
to get that? She had to work hard to get that. Come on.
I don't know. She was a really powerful lady.
Was she hot?
I mean, probably not.
If he was banging her and he's banging all her daughters,
De Sade?
yeah.
Dude, De Sade would fuck anything. Like, I cannot stress that enough. De Sade would fuck anything. Or he would let anything fuck him. Like, there was nothing that wasn't on the table for him sexually.
Right, but there had to be a scale even for him. Like he'll fuck a dog, he'll fuck dirt, but
From 120 Days of
but
Sodom...
like two hot daughters and the mom, that's a little more high. That's more work. It's a little more.
Once we get into 120 Days of Sodom, I think that'll kind of shed a light on what he really preferred sexually. Because it seemed like he wasn't into hot young ladies. He was into something else.
Okay.
After much pleading and arguing, de Sade was able to appeal the death sentence in 1778, saving him from the guillotine. This was the beginning of an imprisonment that would last until de Sade's death 29 years later. He spent not the entire rest of his life, but he spent the majority of the remainder of his life being locked up in one place or another because this guy was real fucked up. With so much time to fill, he decided to begin writing once again, and good for him. After 6 years in the Chateau de Vincennes, something like that. After 6 years of being locked up, de Sade was transferred to the Bastille, where he began writing his magnum opus.
Wait, Bastille?
Yeah, the Bastille.
That's the armor that the Mandalorian wears, right?
No,
was he one of the original Mandalorian?
No, that's Beskar. The
Beskar.
Bastille is one of the special abilities of the Vauban Warframe.
Okay, that's why it
Warframe.
triggered a memory.
Yeah.
Warframe's a good game. It's free. Play it.
Yeah, everybody should get on Warframe. It's actually a really good game. We've put God knows how many hours into it at this point.
Yeah.
So his magnum opus was Le 120 Journées de Sodom, which I'm sure I butchered, or in English, The 120 Days of Sodom. The book told the story of 4 wealthy men who decided they wanted to experience the ultimate sexual gratification. They sealed themselves away in a castle deep within the Black Forest for 4 months.
The Black Forest, is that a actual forest or is that like a metaphor for
No, that's a real
for some
forest.
sexual chocolate or something?
You know what? I take it back. I think the only thing that the Marquis didn't seem to be interested in was anybody that wasn't. Well, actually, no. I don't know the skin color of the people that he had sex with. Maybe he was.
Weren't they all
Maybe
Italian?
he was inclusive. French.
French, that's right. What's the difference?
Between the French and Italians?
Yeah, color-wise. Italians are a
No
little-
difference color-wise, but the French run away from wars and the Italians just lose them.
I guess that's probably a drink. That was culturally insensitive. It wasn't racist. Well, maybe it
Oh,
was.
all right. I'll drink to that. But
Cheers.
Cheers. I stand by the statement.
That's why we have to drink.
Fuck, is that 2 drinks now? Mm-hmm. All right. The four wealthy men bring with them 36 young male and female victims who they repeatedly rape and torture. And here we will read some excerpts from the Marquis'
How many?
greatest work. 36.
And they kidnapped them?
Partially, it's more like they lured them out there under the auspices of something else.
So
going
this
on.
is very similar to like the Patricia Douglas story.
Actually, it is surprisingly close to the Patricia Douglas
They
story.
say
It's like,
it's
hey, come
something
out
else,
here
we
and do this job for us. We just want you to be servants and take care of us. But no, you're actually going to get fucked.
Yeah.
And they got fucked. This is a fictional story, though. But it is surprisingly close to what got the Marquis locked up. Because
This is a fictional story
it's a fictional story, but it seems like...
that he wrote.
Yeah, before...
This is his ultimate
Before
fantasy.
he got locked up, he got in trouble for bringing a group of young men and that... Joel's stroking his mic like,
No, I'm not.
The fictional story is like a aggrandized version of shit that he was already doing or trying to do. So pretty much this story is what he wanted to do, but he wasn't able to achieve because he ended up getting locked up. And I quote, all of these passages that I'm about to read are directly from the book.
Okay.
The Duke de Blanges, thrice a widower and sire of 2 daughters, one wife had given him, having noticed that, a lot of his sentences are run-on sentences, so it's a little bit hard to understand, but I'll try to break it up so it makes sense. The Duke de Blanges, thrice a widower and sire of 2 daughters, one wife had given him, having noticed that the President de Courval appeared interested in marrying the elder of these girls, meaning the eldest of his daughters, despite the familiarities he knew perfectly well her father had indulged in with her, the Duke, I say, suddenly conceived the idea of a triple alliance. Quote, "You want Julie for your wife," said he to Courval. "I give her to you unhesitatingly and put but one condition to the match, that you'll not be jealous when, although your wife, she continues to show me the same compliance she always has in the past. That means I'm going to let you marry my daughter as long as you let me keep fucking her." And this is literally right at the beginning of the book. Like, this is the setup to later parts of the book. It's like, oh, you want to marry my daughter? Okay, that's fine as long as I can keep fucking her.
That is fucking fucked.
Here's another passage. This is much later in the book. "He used to enjoy fucking mouths and very young arses. He improves on this by ripping out the heart of a girl while she is still alive. He makes a hole in it, fucks this nice warm hole, then puts the heart back with his cum still inside. Her wound is sewn up, and she is left without succor to her fate, which is not long coming in this case." Which means he rips out their heart, fucks it, and puts it back and waits for him to die. Which, I mean, I would think just removing the heart would let him die. This is seriously some of the most fucked up shit that I've ever read.
And the fact that he was, like, writing this at the time, that's what makes it 10 times, like
this
a
is
million times more
going on
insane.
in the 1700s.
I mean, you can't even say, "I don't like God."
Yeah.
You get your head chopped off if you say, "I don't like God."
That's
what
fucking
makes it
insane.
so insane. Yeah.
The thoughts going through this guy's head. And I mean, I don't want to kink shame or anything, but if your kink is fucking ripping people's hearts out and fucking them, it's a little bit too far.
Well, not even that. Like, I mean, I've never thought of that. But even ripping their heart out, cutting a hole in the heart, coming inside of it, and then putting it back in. That's what makes it really weird.
Yeah.
Never thought that before. Now I want to try it.
All right. Well, there's a decent amount of homeless people around here. I'm
Hey,
sure that we can
I'm-
trick somebody into coming back to our apartment under the
Baby,
guise of.
I'll see you in like a month in Mexico. Let's try this out. Are you down? Cut the heart out, come inside it, put it back in. With surgeons nowadays, you could probably live through that.
No.
Yeah, like a heart transplant.
Fully removing the heart,
Heart transplant,
cutting a hole in it,
surgically but professionally.
fucking
Shoot a nut in it. Yeah.
shooting a rope in it, and then just putting it direct. No, you can't survive with a cum-filled heart.
Yeah, you can because it pumps it out. It'll pump it through your bloodstream.
But then you have
come inside you, but you could live
You
through
got
it.
a bunch of jizz in your bloodstream.
Yeah, you can get all kinds of shit in your bloodstream and survive. Not saying there's a high chance.
Now, see,
Not saying there's a high chance, but I'm saying that there is a chance. It's a fighter's chance. It's
I
like
wish-
Rocky Balboa chance.
I wish that we could track down Bud McAllister because I think he's the only person that would actually be willing to try that experiment for you.
Only if it was an alien.
Well, I mean, they might have similar physiology.
Well,
to us.
aliens
I
probably
doubt it,
have
though.
multiple hearts. That makes it way easier.
Oh, actually, yeah. We gotta set up that radio system so we can get in contact with Bud McAllister again.
If he's alive. If that was even him.
He might be under the control of a alien parasite that controls his brain.
Yeah, we don't know.
All right, so
We'll never
here's another entry from 120 Days of Sodom. Teresa
Mother Teresa. Yeah. I heard about her.
Teresa had never in her life, so she said, wiped her ass. And it was perfectly evident that there was still shit there from her childhood. As for her vagina, okay, no, just stick with me here.
tried.
Teresa comes up again pretty soon.
Tried.
Teresa is a popular figure in the book. As for her vagina, it was the repository of every filth and horror, a veritable sepulchre whose fetidness would cause one to faint. I cannot believe the shit that he wrote in this fucking book. Yeah. This is how he passed his time in prison, which is where he fucking belonged, obviously. Okay, this is a separate entry.
We need people like this. Teach us lessons.
Yeah, like what not
What
to
not
do?
to do. Yeah. Learn from their mistakes, you know.
Okay, separate entry.
Dude, wait, hold on. The poop on the butt for her whole life, I love that. That's incredible. I wish Jesse was here because Jesse would. I think Jesse Wiseman, if you're out there, if you're listening to this, I think you would appreciate that.
Had poo on the butt since childhood. Since childhood.
It's incredible.
She comes up again.
He's an artist.
She comes up again.
No one understands him. That's all.
Okay, yeah, that's what it is. He's just a misunderstood artist.
Yeah, he's just a filthy artist.
Franchon, 69 years of age,
Of course.
has been hanged.
69, my favorite number.
I actually think that he did make her that age because of
69.
Of the implications. 69 years of age, has been hanged 6 times in effigy and has committed all imaginable crimes.
Mm-hmm.
She has a squint. I actually love this description. It's fucked up, but it's... I mean, it just really gives you a look into this guy's brain. She has a squint and is pug-nosed, short, fat, with no forehead and only 2 teeth.
I love this guy now.
An erysipelas, I think it's erysipelas.
Fuck. He's an asshole, but he's a great artist. He's a great writer.
I'm not sure how exactly to pronounce this word, but it says an erysipelas or erysipelas covers her arse. I had to look it up. It's actually just a skin infection. So she's got a skin infection all over her ass. A bunch of hemorrhoids hang from her asshole. A canker devours her vagina. She has a burnt thigh and a cancer eating away at her breast. She is always drunk, vomits, farts and shits all over the place and at any time without even noticing. That's Franchon.
Holy shit.
Okay, here's another...
I could never write that.
I don't even know how to imagine it.
He's fucking incredible.
I have to say, to a
I'm
certain
impressed.
degree,
I've been talking about poop and pee my whole fucking life, and I would never.
We talk about fucked up shit all the time, and we have
never gotten to this level.
We've never even come close to talk. I thought that some of the fucked up conversations that we have are edgy, but yeah, we've never even come close.
And this is from the 1700s.
This is from
and he's whooping our ass.
The late 1700s.
Jesus.
During a period where you can be executed for talking about this type of shit.
Yeah. What a badass.
All right, here's another entry. The rest of that worn and withered body, that ass of taffeta chine, I think that's how it's said. That ass of taffeta. He says arse all the time, but I don't like saying arse, so I'm just going to say ass.
arse.
Okay. That arse of taffeta, that gaping rancid hole in the middle.
Oh, he's in jail. Yeah, he became a pirate. He's a butt pirate, dude.
But should I read this in a pirate voice?
Anytime it's him, you have to do your fucking shitty pirate voice.
Okay, I'll read. I think I have a very good pirate voice. I'll read these in the pirate voice.
It's a French pirate.
It sounds more like a Scottish pirate from what I've heard.
Well, it transitions
I'm just
between pirate to Irish to Scottish.
I'll read it in the pirate voice anyway. That arse of taffeta, that gaping rancid hole in the middle, those mutilations to the breasts and to 3 fingers, that stunted leg that makes her limp, that toothless mouth, all of this in flames excites our 2 libertines. Dorset sucks her from the front, Curvel from behind, and while objects of the most exquisite beauty and utmost freshness are there before them, ready to satisfy their slightest desires, it is with something that nature and crime have defiled, have withered. It is with the filthiest and most disgusting object that our 2 ecstatic lechers will taste the most delectable pleasures. And who can explain man after that? So what the scene that it's describing is they're surrounded by all of these young, beautiful men and women that they had brought out to this castle to rape and torture and murder.
Yeah.
But they decided to, that's Franchon that they're talking about. They decided to have sex with her instead because it was more exciting to have sex with the short, pug-nosed, toothless lady who's never wiped her ass before. Or was that Teresa? Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's the same. The one where her vagina's being eaten away by
I think that's Franchon. Was that Teresa? There's so many characters in this book. There really doesn't need to be that many characters. Okay, so it was Teresa that never wiped her ass, but it was Franchon.
She's the one that's getting
no forehead, only 2 teeth.
Yeah.
Ass rash, hemorrhoids,
tit cancer,
hemorrhoids
eating her vagina.
And
wait, no, what's eating her vagina?
Canker.
God.
And she's the one that vomits, farts, and shits all over the place without even
knowing.
Noticing. Yeah.
God bless her.
Great lady. Great lady. I mean, she's got a heart of gold, though.
Well, see, God bless him. That's the one he's most turned on by.
Everybody needs
Everyone
love.
has a type.
All right, here's another one. I got to keep doing the pirate voice?
Yep. I think it's hot.
Here we go. All I can tell you for certain is that at this very moment, I'm speaking to you I could do with a really foul whore. I'd like her fresh from the seat of a close stool, which means fresh from the bathroom. Mm-hmm. Her arse reeking of shit and her cunt smelling of fish. Ho there, Teresa. You whose filthiness dates back to the flood, talking about the biblical flood. She's so nasty and old that her nastiness dates back to the biblical flood.
Yeah. God bless.
Teresa, you whose filthiness dates back to the flood. You who haven't wiped your arse since you were baptized, and you whose vile cunt stinks for 10 miles around. Bring all that over here, I beg you. And a turd, too, if you like. Hey, you nasty old lady, come over here and have sex with me and shit on me if you want to.
Go ahead. If you want to shit on me, I'm totally cool with it.
All right, here's another entry. But is it absolutely genuine, he asked me, this need to shit you're claiming? For I don't like to be deceived. Let's see. Let's see if you really have shit in your arse. And as he said this, he thrust the middle finger of his right hand straight up my fundament, while with his left hand, he kept up the erection I had teased from his prick earlier. This probing finger did not have to go far to persuade itself of the very real need I had impressed upon him. He had no sooner touched it than he was in ecstasy. Oh golly, he said, she's not lying.
Holy shit.
The hen is about to lay, and I have felt the egg. This book is fucking
genius.
insane.
He's
It is
a goddamn genius.
fucking insane. Other passages in the book describe the torture and murder of pregnant women, the mutilation of young boys and girls, and heaps of shit being eaten.
Eaten?
Eaten. There's a lot of what's it called?
Poopy?
Something phagia.
I've never eaten shit.
No, neither have I. I won't. This was the story that de Sade considered his greatest work, and this work almost never saw the light of day due to the storming of the Bastille during the French Revolution. And I gotta say, it actually is as fucked up as 120 Days of Sodom is.
Jesus,
It would have actually been
crazy.
a bit of a tragedy if it never saw the light of day, because it was almost destroyed. De Sade was transferred from the Bastille to an insane asylum in 1789, and he was unable to bring his manuscript with him, which was written in tiny letters on a continuous roll of paper. So he was writing this while he was in prison, and he was just using this big, long roll of paper and writing in the smallest letters that he possibly could, because he actually never finished it. He got transferred, and then the French Revolution started before he could finish it. 10 days after he left the Bastille...
Where was it going to finish to? What's the finish?
Jesus Christ.
And then I laid myself to rest, covered in shit.
And then they were done, and they went home, and everybody lived happily ever after, except all the people that they killed.
And we never...
Except all the people that they fucked to death. 10 days after he left the Bastille, it was raided by angry French peasants and set ablaze. De Sade was devastated at the loss of his greatest work. Unbeknownst to the Marquis, his manuscript hadn't been destroyed. For some unknown reason, a man named Arnaud de Saint-Maximin had retrieved it 2 days before the Bastille was attacked. It's unknown why he did this, and it isn't even clear who the fuck this guy was. Like, there's no other information about this guy aside from the fact that he saved this manuscript.
Why did he...
Right? Dude, he was probably fucking...
jerking off.
He was pounding his meat to it for sure. For sure.
I've been thinking this whole time, like, how could I jerk off to this? Like, how do I get my mind...
I'm ashamed to say it, but from my experience, very easily.
For you, yeah.
It is unknown why he did this, and isn't even clear who this man was, but thanks to him, we can all enjoy 120 Days of Sodom, as well as its film adaptation, Salo, which is I think it's an Italian film, which I'm not sure, I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen clips from it. I mean, we've both watched clips from Salo. It's called Salo or 120 Days of Sodom, and it's based on the book. And yeah, they do a lot of the same shit that happens in the story itself. They eat shit, they murder people. There's one story in the book itself where actually I'm surprised that I took that part out for some reason, but one of the events in the book itself is some guy is sodomizing a little boy, cuts off the top of his head, pulls out his brain, and fills his head with molten lead, and then shoots a rope inside him. Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? Yeah.
I
thought Hannibal was creepy. This is way worse.
Yeah, I thought Marilyn Manson was a tryhard, but fucking Marquis de Sade really stepped it up a little bit. He's the original Marilyn Manson.
How
He's
much
shock jock or what? No, that's Howard Stern.
No, but he was doing it for real though.
I don't know if he was actually murdering anybody.
I wonder though how much he got away with. That's the thing.
He was
all this shit. You only
he was a rich aristocrat, and he had a lot of money. So honestly, he really could have gotten away with pretty much anything that he wanted. If
that's what he was writing about in jail, and he had a fucking castle and was having orgies. It's some Epstein shit. There's so much shit that he did. It was probably a memoir of all the shit that he did that he got away with, that he was writing about.
He did leave behind a very specific set of instructions about what was supposed to happen to everything that he wrote after he died, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. I understand why he wanted this done after he died. So, the French Revolution ultimately saw the Marquis set free for a little while. Due to the amount of nobles being decapitated, de Sade hid his aristocratic background and was even able to serve in several official positions. So he got released around the time of the French Revolution after the storming of the Bastille and everything like that. They started chopping off every rich person's head that they could find, and the Marquis hid that from everyone so he could, not get his fucking head chopped off. Although that probably would have gotten him off in some way. During this time, he anonymously published some of his previous erotic works, including Justine and Juliet, and it was these books that ultimately led to his downfall. After taking control of France, and this is quite a few years later. After taking control of France, Napoleon Bonaparte ordered the arrest of the anonymous author of the 2 books in the year 1801.
Uh-oh.
De Sade was arrested once again and imprisoned. After interventions by his family, he was declared insane and transferred to an insane asylum in 1803. So he spent 2 years in prison, probably sentenced to death once again. But then, luckily, his side of the family, I don't think it was his mother-in-law's family, but his side of the family stepped in, convinced him to just declare him insane. And I mean, if you look at any of the shit that he's written, real easy to get him declared insane, especially in 1700s or 1800s France.
I can't believe they didn't kill him for that.
While in the asylum, De Sade continued his wicked ways. At the age of 70, he began a sexual relationship with the 14-year-old daughter of one of the asylum employees. How was this guy getting laid after he had been locked in an insane asylum? How the fuck does that happen?
What the fuck? That's a powerful
he
man.
must have been really, really charming. Or just probably just a rapist, honestly. But this relationship continued for 4 years until his eventual death.
He
From
had to be a
70
smooth
to
talker.
74, he was nailing a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-old,
Well, in France,
18-year-old.
13 is an adult.
Oh, so that wasn't even one of his crimes.
No.
Like, nobody gave a shit that he was
Yeah.
that he was a 70-year-old man banging a
They're
14-year-old.
like, yeah, okay. He's calmed down finally after all these years.
Late in his life, seeing that the end was near, the Marquis instructed his family to burn all of his manuscripts upon his death. Understandably, like I said. His family smiled and nodded, and then completely ignored him, publishing all of his work posthumously. On December 2nd, 1814, the Marquis de Sade passed away from old age.
He lived a whole fucking life.
He
Full.
died of old age at the age of 74. Rest in peace, Donatien. You're shitting on the chests of angels now.
Mm-hmm. And who knows?
And that's the end
God
of our
knows what
story
else.
of Marquis de Sade. I mean, he would freak out the devil if he went to hell. I mean, if I believed in either one of them, I would assume that he probably went to hell, and the devil was probably like, I don't want him, you take him. And
He's
God's
in
like, I
limbo.
don't want him, you take him.
He's
And
in
he's just
limbo.
stuck in purgatory, and he's just
Yeah.
fucking everybody in purgatory.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the end of the story of the Marquis
That was
de Sade.
fucked. That was fucked.
Okay,
I
so
can't believe that he was saying that kind of shit in the 1700s. That's what makes it
Exactly.
so. It's so much more powerful. You can't nowadays with all this cancel culture and all the bullshit going on.
You
at
would-
least in America,
you would
can't
be
say
hard
shit.
pressed to get away from or to get away with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
fan
you would
fiction
you
and
wouldn't go to
independent authors and things like I'm
get away
sure
with
that
it, but
there's
you'd be
people
like-
that try
you
to
get-
one up him.
you get Me Too'd
But
all day long.
I mean, this guy, he was doing it in the late 1800s when he could be put
It's
to
a
death.
memoir,
for it.
dude.
But he was such a horny boy. He's like, oh no, I got to write this shit. I mean, he was locked in prison at the time, so he was probably writing it for himself. Where he's sitting there, he's got a quill in one hand and his dick in
Jerking
the
off.
other, and he's like, oh yeah, that's fucking hot.
he did
But
all
yeah,
that
he
shit.
was
He did all that shit.
he was a sick fuck. He was a real sick fuck. I mean, I try not to kink shame all that much, but I mean, chopping off the top of a little boy's head while you're sodomizing him and filling his skull cavity with hot lead, who thinks of that? Like,
I think he did all that
Eli
shit.
Roth probably,
I
but
think he did all that shit.
outside of the Marquis de Sade and Eli Roth, who else fucking thinks of that shit?
Chuck Palahniuk. He does that and thinks of that shit.
Ooh, his short story Guts.
I haven't read that.
From Haunted. That's one of the few Chuck Palahniuk stories that I've read where I was like,
You're like, wait a minute.
this is fucked. It's about a little kid getting all of his intestines sucked out through his butthole.
Mm.
Yeah, it's fucked
Nice.
up. Based on a true story. A true story that he heard while he was researching Fight Club. And while he was researching Fight Club, he was attending Sexaholics Anonymous meetings. And one of the guys in the meetings told the story about getting his own intestines
Sucked out through his
sucked out
butthole.
through his butthole.
Nice.
And now he can't eat anything, can't eat meat. He has to eat stuff that gets digested very easily and very quickly because he only has like 1 foot left of his large intestine.
Nice.
All right. Well, how about we wrap this up and just let all the listeners enjoy
Suck that in. Yeah.
enjoy the mental
I don't
images
even know
that we
what
just
like,
gave.
what are
them.
we supposed to talk
I don't know
about?
how to.
You're just kind of like, okay, that guy was really obsessed with fucking.
And not just,
And
I mean, fucking in any way
Torture,
that you can think
fucking, yeah, just like went as deep as you could go.
So, I mean, usually
then
what
wrote
we
it all
do
down.
is we talk about the topic.
What's the moral of the story?
And try to make up fucked up stuff about what the topic is. But
Can't beat 'em.
Yeah, you can't beat them. There's no way to one up that shit.
No, I mean, I wouldn't. It would be disrespectful of me to ask him if he would fuck a mermaid. Of course,
he would.
He already did,
Yeah. And
and much worse.
if mermaids didn't
He
exist,
peeled the scales off one at a time while jerking off.
He cut a
into the
woman in
wounds
half and sewed the lower half of a fish to her, and then
just
fucked
to
the
fuck
fish.
her. Yeah, just
Yeah.
to fuck the fish. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that the Marquis didn't do. I guess the moral of the story is if you're rich and powerful,
Fuck whatever you want.
fuck whatever you want. Might get in trouble for it, but you're probably going to die of old age unless you get suicided by the Clintons in a prison.
I mean, he did spend a shit ton of time in jail, which was not fun.
He spent 1/3 of his life in prison for his
so that
sexual
sucks.
proclivities.
That's not fun. Even if you're rich, it's
He
boring.
was- He was still fucking while he was in prison, though. Like, he never stopped.
True.
Never stopped doing it.
It wasn't fun, though.
Not as fun as if he were on the outside.
If he was writing on a scroll as
think-
small as he could because he knew they weren't going to give him any more paper after that.
I think his time at Chateau de la Coste was probably the greatest
Chateau,
years of his life.
of course. Shat. Of course.
And so he coined sadism and chateau because of all the scatological shit going on in his fucking castle. All right, well, let's wrap this up and get out of here. I got to go check on my dogs because I got my dogs in town again.
All right.
That's it for this episode of the Iconoblast Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Iconoblast Podcast. You can follow Joel at Joel R. Benner, or you can follow me at Coop Nukem.
But more importantly, like, rate, and review.
Yeah,
Or 5 stars. 5 stars, baby.
Apple Podcast users.
We're back on the charts.
Yeah, back on the charts once again.
We're back on the charts. I think we're 136.
Something like that. I
126,
can't remember, something like that.
Back on the charts.
But we're back on the charts.
Yeah.
So yeah, Apple Podcast users, don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. That helps us stay on the charts and pushes us further up the charts. Also, tell your friends about us. I mean, if you're having a good time
spread
watching
the
the
word.
show, listening to the show, let your friends know if they like offensive humor and pretty much.
Yeah, you can usually. I don't know if we learned much on this episode, but normally you learn something about history. Well, we learned that perverts get away with all kinds of shit, even in the 1700s.
Especially the French.
And if you're rich.
And if you're rich. Yeah, that's still going on. I mean, McAfee, Epstein, Weinstein.
Well, Weinstein got caught.
Yeah.
Finally.
Cosby got away with it, though.
He'll go back in jail, though.
Yeah, he can't be tried for the same crimes again.
Well, not for the one crime.
For
But he's-
the 60.
Or if he's,
I hope
if he's
so,
smart, he'll leave the country.
Yeah.
And he'll head over to, he'll buy McAfee's old house. And
Or he'll go to France, because, no, they locked up de Sade, too. So, sorry, Cosby. I hope you die
I'm
in
not.
prison.
fuck Cosby.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. I hope he fucking
fuck
dies in
Weinstein.
prison. I feel personally betrayed by Bill Cosby being a piece of shit, because I grew up watching The Cosby Show.
Yeah,
Like, that
he
was
was
a
cool.
weekly thing that my family would do. Is every week we would watch The Cosby Show. And that son of a bitch was fucking drugging
Everybody.
girls and licking toes outside of the Cosby Show.
That's so weird. That's so creepy, dude.
Bring shame to the Huxtable name. All right, that's it for this episode. We will be back next week with a new topic that I'm not actually sure what it's going to be yet.
Yeah. Well, Jesse's due to come back. Hopefully Jesse
Yeah.
has the time, and we finish off McAfee.
Yeah, hopefully we can get Jesse in here to finish off the McAfee episode, because, God, that's going to be three or four really fucked up sex episodes in a row.
Yeah, what's wrong with you, dude?
I must be going through something.
Yeah.
All right, well, my name is Matt Cooper,
I'm Joel Benner.
and we are reminding you to never take anything at face value. And also, don't drug people and fuck them, and don't fuck little kids. Don't chop off the tops of their heads and fill it with molten lead.
No. I think the wide shot still works right now because we're on a camera that can record the whole time.
Oh, we can? All right, well,
Hasta luego.
have a good night, everybody. Sweet dreams after this story.
Yeah, thanks, Ross, for having us on
Oh, yeah, check out our episode.
Drinking
We were
Bros.
guests on Drinking Bros recently. So
Yeah.
go check that out.
Yeah, and watch Softcore History.
And watch Softcore History.
They're on
watch
the
or
same
listen.
channel as us.
Yeah, they're
also subscribe to the
Drinking Bros History channel.
yeah.
We should really tighten up these outros and figure
Yeah,
out what all we got
whatever.
to plug. But yeah,
What
fuck
should we
it.
play at the end? Something perverted, right? What's a perverted clip I could play at the end?
Maybe not. So for
the video,
for
for
the
the video.
YouTube video part, this might be something that'll drive some more people to the YouTube channel. There are illustrations from the Marquis de Sade.
Ooh, maybe
Maybe
if I have the time. We're recording a day away from when this has to be posted.
yeah, it's going to be cutting it pretty close.
So we'll see if I can get those.
But
in
yeah,
in
there
time.
are some illustrations depicting some of the things that the Marquis de Sade was writing about.
Sick, dude.
And they are pretty much what you would expect. All right. See you next week, everybody.